Hi there, friends. This is Gene Burnett from GeneBurnett.com. I'd like to do a short video today. This was by request. I forgot who requested it, but one of my viewers requested a video on deflect, parry, and punch from the Tai Chi form, and I just thought I would share my version of it, which comes from Chung Ta Chen. Taught it to Andy Dale in Seattle, taught it to me, and then I kind of put two aspects of it together, and our style kind of encourages us to experiment and to find ways to move that are effective and obey the basic principles. Everybody disagrees about what the principles are, but for me the main principle is balance, and the main aspect of balance that I like to cultivate is a readiness to make corrections, a readiness to move and adjust to the situation at hand so that I can keep balance, because balance is a matter of corrections, right? So when a tightrope walker is really good, they make lots and lots of small corrections, and when they're new, they make a few big ones. So I like to make as few corrections as possible, or as many corrections as possible, but small, rather than a few small number of big ones. So deflect, parry, and punch, I've seen plenty of yang style practitioners who don't really have any idea what deflect, parry, and punch is about. Not that they don't know the true way, they don't know any way. They just do a motion and then they know this is a punch, but they don't quite know what the deflect, parry part is about. So I'm going to turn that like that a little bit. Yeah. So this is a version of a deflect, parry, and punch. There are many, and I just wanted to share the version that I do and what works about it for me, given my training goals. And then, you know, you can agree or disagree, or maybe learn something from it, or try to pick a piece of it, get some value out of it. Hopefully it'll be helpful. So let's say we're doing deflect, parry, and punch out of, let's say it's out of fan through back. I'm going to face you on this one. So our fan through back is here rather than here. So ours kind of comes underneath like that. You're twisting like that. The other person is doing this. Sorry, the other person's doing that. And you're coming into the back that way. So we're coming into here. Now, the deflect movement, you can just relax your hands and turn the front toe in. To me, like the deflect is to turn. So remember, a deflection is not a block. Like when you deflect criticism, you say, he did it. You deflect something elsewhere. Like if you had a shield or a dodgeball and someone was throwing balls at you, and you deflect it off to somewhere else. Blocking it is just stopping it. That's not a deflection. A deflection makes it go elsewhere. So the idea would be that force is coming at me, particularly off my outside, and I'm turning away from that force to allow it to sort of bump off here and go that way. So it's deflect off that way. So you can do that by moving your hands in this shape, or what I would much prefer to do is take advantage of that straight line of gravity, that. In this case it's on the inside, but I would just let gravity surrender my arm, take my arm down like that. It's the smoothest, fastest way there. Now, when you do a deflection and you turn this way, this elbow's moving back. The other one's moving back. So that means you got to watch this knee. If I don't turn my toe in, I'd have to be extra careful to keep this knee from twisting in. Don't want that. So in our style, when we do the deflect, we're actually turning the toe in. Now, you can, and sometimes I do, allow my chest to kind of collapse a little bit, to pull, almost like to round my back a little bit, to distort my usual upright vertical posture for the function of the movement, which is to do that deflect. Or I might leave my spine upright and do the deflect like this. This is more in keeping with the upright idea posture-wise. This one is a little more, I think, a little more in keeping with the function of the movement. So just depending on what I'm working on. So the deflect is a drop of the arm and a turn of the toe in like that. Everything is grounded on that other leg. This part is relatively soft in this version. So from here, deflect. Now the parry is the move that's the most. It tends to be a little fuzzy in people's mind about what it is they're doing. When I first learned it, we used to do it like this. We would come back like this and then turn this way. So this is the parry here, and then this is coming around to the side here, and the pressure would go from the big toe across the arch and then to the outside of the foot. And a lot of people do this. They just put their foot there and don't really know why they're putting their foot there. It's not just a step. It can be a strike. And the way that Andy would always demonstrate this whenever we would do this applications off this movement would be like from here, it's like there's a hand grab here, and you would turn and not pull with your arm, but connect your arm through your core to your leg, and you're sitting into this leg. Notice the knee is not twisting, it's pointing the same direction as the toe. And I would turn this way, and you're pulling them into a shin kick. So you'd kick with your heel, but not with your foot pointing straight ahead, because then your heel doesn't make it to their shin. So the shin block is, it hits the ball of the foot. Instead, we want to do it that way. Can you see that? Boom. So that heel hits their shin. They grab the hand. This movement here just gets them on their front leg, and then bang, like that, right? And the arm is here, so when you're pulling it, you've also got the parry, like a chopping, blocking, knock it aside kind of movement with your arm. So kind of mostly your forearm. So for another view from here, I'm coming back this way, allowing myself to collapse a little in the chest if I want to, mimic the idea of getting away from something here. Then I'm definitely going to be upright as I turn. The turn is a turn and sink into the left leg, in my left leg in this case. And that turn and sink pulls this hand around, palm up. And this one swings around, palm up as well. This one is a fist, this one is palm up. So I'm turning there. And then, I would want my shin kick to arrive at the same time that this arrives. I would want that kick to arrive at the same time that this finishes, right? So from another point of view, from here, I want this to arrive at the same time. So if you think of the deflect hand here, it's going from my point of view, you'd have to figure this out yourself, but this is, say, 9 o'clock, and then this is 12 o'clock, and then this is, no, wait a minute, that's 9 o'clock, this is 12, this is 3 o'clock. So I'm going from 3 to 9 with this one. It's the large circle. It's going from here to here. This one is just going from 3 to 12. It's just going that far. So halfway through these movements, I want to be halfway through that kick. So there's a knee lift and then the kick. This particular kick has a chamber and then kick. It's not just put your foot out there. It's boom. So I lift my knee halfway through each movement. In other words, when my outside hand is at 1:30 and my inside hand is at noon, right? Halfway through the movement, I lift the knee and then extend through the heel, boom, with that kick at the same time that this all arrives together. So what I did was I took the application that Andy always showed us with the kick on the shin there, and I just lifted my foot off the ground in the solo form so that I'm doing the same thing. So instead of rolling around this foot like that, I'm going boom like that. So I'm doing that kick more less of a gesture and more of the actual kick. And it happens to be a balance challenge, a one-leg balance challenge, which I'm particularly partial to given my training goals of wanting to maintain my ability to balance on one leg as long as I can. So I'm 66 years old now, and balance is becoming more and more and more important in my life. So being able to land on one leg and bounce there with that knee right over the toe, regardless of what else is going on in the body, this is a spring back here, that's an important training game goal priority of mine. So I like that it's introducing a balance challenge to a movement which didn't have one there. So let's get a side view here. I'm in fan through back, sinking into both hips, because I always want to be sitting on my horse, sitting into the hips, lifting the heart a little bit, lifting the back of the head a little bit. So I'd arrange my posture here, deflection here, either collapsing a little here or not. It's up to my feeling, how I'm feeling that day or what I feel like working on. So let's just say I'm going to keep my upright posture this time. So I'm here, I'm going to come back. Now I'm going to turn, and as I'm turning, the hands are coming around, lift and kick, so that the max of this pull corresponds to the max of that kick, corresponds to the max of that chop, right? So that's deflect, parry. Trying to be as upright as I can there. So because I'm working on my upright posture and working on one leg balance stuff, I take that opportunity just before I lift the leg to check my horse, hips, heart, head. Make sure that's in good alignment with gravity. So right here, I'm just about to be on one leg. So I check the space between my inner thighs, sit into the horse, lift my chest and head, turn, and there's my kick. And I can hang here as long as I want to, right? So all three parts of this work in terms of the physics. In terms of actual street combat, none of these techniques work. None of these moves work unless by accident. The attributes that you learn from this may of course work, and God bless you if you ever have to use it. I hope that the principles that you learned come to your aid and help you preserve your life. But to think that you're going to execute a movement from the Tai Chi form as it appears in the form is a fantasy, because this is fighting, right? Not all that kind of stuff, right? So, but for the physics of the movement, all three parts of this work in the sense that, like, if I get a cross hand grab here, like someone wants to pull that hand and hit, let's say, if I get a cross hand grab there, if I deflect with my body, like pull with my body a little bit and flip that over, like that works to get their grip on, flipped and in an uncomfortable situation. So I've got that part. If I want to do both, I've got this part and that part. So I can pull this whole front side back and get that kick there. Boom. Also, if they grab and I don't do anything but just kick, like that works too. Just kicking a shin kick, lift, boom on that shin there. I've got the right physics for that. Or as I say, I can put them together. Or I could turn and chop. They've got my hand, chop the hand and kick the shin. Or just chop the hand. Or pull the hand, chop the shin, and hit the hand with the hand. Right, kick the shin and chop the hand. So you've got this, you've got this with this, you've got this with this, you've got this with that, and then you've got all three. So all three of those things are all powered by the same basic idea, which is to sink and turn. Now, if you want to be a little more picky, a little more into the one leg and having everything come from the ground up off your legs, you can go like this. You can come back like this. You're kind of upright. As you turn, you sink a little bit, rise a little into the kick, and then sink again. Right? So that's a little bit more difficult. So I'm going to come back. I'm going to turn, sink, rise, and then sink again. So the kick has a little boom to it, a little bounce off the ground. So your body weight is, your legs are helping the kick. It's not just a leg here, but other leg. So you've got your deflect, realizing I'm about to be on one leg, double checking posture, turning, parry. Then I can just put that foot down. I can put it down at the same angle it is. So if I'm facing this way, this is the direction I'm going to do the next move, which is the punch. Here, it's the toe is turned out so that that heel can get into the shin, right? So I just put that foot down right where it is, shift my weight to that foot. I'm about to be on one leg again. So I check my horse, check my hips, check my heart, check my head, right? Then I'm going to pull this knee up and I'm going to circle. And then I'm going to sink. And then I'm going to push that hand through, the fist through my hand. So on that move, the normal kind of typical way of doing this would be to just step and punch. And this move includes a foot hook, which is something that Master Chung really liked because he was influenced by Bagua, and so he put more spiraling and some Bagua type emphasis and accents throughout our system. So it resembles Chen a little bit because there's these overt spiraling. So he liked those foot hooks. So from here, I'm deflect here, upright, turn, kick. I'm going to pull the foot back towards me so I stay on the field of the camera. But normally I would put my foot down here. But I'm going to put my foot down closer to me. I'm going to shift to that leg. And instead of just stepping, it's like a merry-go-round kind of. I'm on this leg going up and down. And as I approach the top, I'm going to turn this way. I'm turning my ribs, and I'm turning my waist, not my hips. So it's a turn like this. Then I'm going to sit and settle. And when I do that, I'm 100% on my back leg, and I'm just putting my foot there. So the fist hand makes a circle like that, getting ready to punch again. The parry hand comes around into a circle, and at the end of it, you're on your back leg. Your center is a little bit in front of your heel, but not to 50-50. Front foot's empty. I keep saying you, I mean me. This isn't the only way to do this. I'm just sharing my version of it. And then I'm going to punch as though this arm was a log with 2 ropes on it at my elbow and my wrist. Like that. It's like a battering ram with my weight behind it. So it's a low punch. So, parry here. Shift to that foot, upright. I push up with my leg as I turn, and then I sink down on that back leg as I settle and form the circle here, and the hand here. Now I'm pushing my weight forward, and as I arrive, I'm going to sink and settle a little bit. I'm actually going to rise slightly as I go forward, and then sink slightly as I finish. So I'm trying to hit heavy with my body. I'm not trying to go up into the air like that. I'm not going up. I'm going up a little bit and then down again. It's like I'm trying to lift a weight between my legs and then just set it down. So there's a little bit of a lift and then, oh, it's too heavy, I set it down. It's most definitely not this. It's not handing it forward and letting your weight, go out over your toes, right? It's definitely shift and then settle, right? So from the top, it's deflect, parry, circle, step. My elbow is right over my knee. My weight's back here. Center a little bit in front of that. Push and settle. And at the end, I'm sitting on the horse, checking in my hips, lifting my heart, lifting my head. I want to be upright here. Finish with that punch. And then we have this little move where we slip the hand back as though somebody was carrying our elbow forward. Slip the hand back, wipe it off, settle into your hips, and push. And when the elbows reach the knee line, sink and settle so you don't go too far. Just here to here. Good push isn't very long. It's not a huge movement. This doesn't add much compared to using your weight, right? So that's often just we kind of just include that in Deflect Parry and Punch. The withdraw and push is just part of that. And we have had different versions of it where you let your hands land this way and then push it from the hip. Versions of it where your hands never stop facing the other person, or kind of a compromise between the two where the palms turn up but they don't drop and then go forward. Either way, they're all okay. They're all, as long as you're not arming it and going out over your stuff here. Your stuff is your legs and your core, and you want to stay over your stuff, right? Not out there, unless it's emergency. Sometimes you might have to reach to get something, but not a place to live. So, fan through the back, let's just say, deflect, turning away, then back the other direction, bang, parry, shift the weight, check your posture here, coming up, step, settle here. I could check posture here too. Horse, hips, heart, head, then just push that fist through my hand. Sink before I go too far, check posture again. Reach back, wipe it off, push, settle, soften right there. Right? Deflect, parry, circle, punch, withdraw, push, settle. There. So again, not saying this is the best or only way to do deflect, parry, and punch. It's just the version that I like. I love the parry on one leg, and I love the hook. I love all the up and down, all the up and downs. If you happen to come from a young lineage where you're not permitted to rise and fall, then this movement you can't do it this way, because that's, in a sense, illegal in your system. I personally love to rise and fall with every single movement I do, and I love for my frame to expand and contract a little with every movement I do. I also like a little acceleration and deceleration with every movement that I do, because that's the most healthy, happy, and harmonious way I've found to move, and also the way that works the best in terms of absorbing momentum and delivering momentum. If you want to try to throw a ball without rising and falling, it's very difficult. There's a little up and down to a good throw, or a good golf swing, or a good anything. Very, very few moments in all of athletic life where you're supposed to keep your head on the exact same level. So, not a big fan of the one level thing. But if that's your lineage and that's what you're committed to, I'm not saying it's bad. Definitely a lot of health benefits to be gotten from staying down low and moving on in low stances and not coming up and down. But it's not really alignment with my training goals, which again is to be very ready to move, extremely ready to move, and extremely ready to make corrections. I'm not interested in the balance that I can hold. I'm not interested in dropping a bowling ball in my stomach and doing a soft version of parry where I'm just, everything's low and very sunk into the ground. It can be good for certain types of contests, like fixed feet, push hands, where you're not supposed to move your feet, to just be really, really super relaxed in the belly, and to really let your abdominal contents fall into your pelvis, and to be like really heavy, so that when you do a kick, it's like you swallowed a bowling ball here. But I prefer engaged core. I prefer to have my core engaged. I prefer to have my heart lifted. I prefer an erect and upright spine so that I have less pressure on my neck and back. I don't want to feel those areas in pain. So, like, I want to be engaged in my core when I'm on one leg, not heavy, soft, relaxed. There might be some martial benefit to the heavy, soft, relaxed version of it. There might be. I don't see them as much, but the people that can fight, the people that actually do fight on a regular basis, all have strong abs, all have upright spines, all have all have that going on. Some of them, because they don't do form work or the yoga part of movement, they don't do self-study and all that kind of thing, they may win the fight in the ring, but they might lose that fight against gravity, which is punching on you all the time from when you stand up as a little kid all the way to when you can't stand anymore. So I want to be able to deliver momentum martially. I want to be able to I want to be able to deliver a strike, and I want to be able to deflect, and I want to be able to get away from stuff, and I want to be in balance with gravity. I want to be able to let gravity go through me this way. So for me, that means engage the core and lift the chest. Not puff it out like that. Not talking about that. I don't really mean chest, I mean heart. The center core of your upper body lifts a little bit. So you have that length there, and the back of the head moving backwards and up there. So I work on that when I'm on one leg. So when I do my parry, I keep all that in mind. As I do that, boom, come around and boom. And then the withdraw and push, and that's my version of deflect, parry, punch. And I'm so happy that in our long form, there is a movement where you do a heel kick right at the end of the form, right? And then you do a deflect on one leg, and then you do the parry on one leg. And because of that movement being there, that was the key to me, because that reminded me of Andy's application exercise for deflect, parry, and punch. And I just said, why don't we make every parry that way? So throughout the form, the simplified form and the long form, 6-section symmetrical long form that I teach, every single time we do a punch, there's a parry, I do it on one leg to accent that idea and put more one leg balance and more springiness and more rise and fall, controlled, more rise and fall in my movements. So thank you for watching. I appreciate it if you find this helpful at all, especially if you were the one who requested this. I forgot who you were, but thanks for requesting it, because I did want to nail down all this stuff and on video, so in case I'm teaching this particular movement to somebody, I can refer them to this video. So thanks for watching. Hope you find this helpful. If you do, I'd love to hear a comment. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.